Hey everybody, Mark Dawes here. Now, I've just been sent a really interesting email about a week ago, and I've just had time to get round to doing the video on this because this person has asked me to put this information out there. Now, I'm not going to say too much about it. I'm not going to do a big lead in. I'm going to read you exactly what it says. I've had to redact the name of the organisations and the person involved, but you'll get the gist of this, and I'll be really interested in your comments at the end. So please feel free to comment on this, as I'm sure many of you will want to. This is the email I received. It came to me on the 5th of February at 11:13 in the morning. Hi Mark, I thought you may like to use this email for the subject of one of your videos. I've been conducting some research with other NHS organisations looking at what provision and resources they have for PMVA training. The aim is to gather evidence to support a business case to have more resource here at name of the organisation redacted. I spoke to the lead at several trusts, including, and the name redacted there is a major NHS Trust, who have recently merged with other trusts and have in excess of 25,000 staff. The trust lead, name redacted, stated that until the 31st of December 2019, the only PMVA training the trust provided was a generic 2-hour conflict resolution course delivered face-to-face. He stated that they do not teach any physical disengagement or restraint to any clinical staff because, quote, we rely on common law self-defence, Criminal Law Act and Criminal Justice and Immigration Act, unquote. However, from the 1st of January 2020, all, in capitals, face-to-face PMVA training has now ceased. Instead, a brief online conflict resolution is used. The justification is that if something goes wrong and a member of staff is injured, it will be cheaper to pay them off than it is to train all staff. I also asked about training the security team get, to which I got this reply. They use a certain company because they are the only nationally approved training body. I questioned this, and this person told me that this was what another person put, or the company put, in their tender document, and it was the reason they were awarded the contract. Obviously, I disagree wholeheartedly with the policy they have adopted as a trust, and I believe it raises serious legal issues relating to the safety of staff and patients. If you would like to comment on this, please feel free to use this, but I would be grateful if you would anonymise the trust and the name of the PMVA lead there. Regards, name and position withheld. Well, interestingly, they're not going to do any training because they say that staff can rely on their common law right to use of force and their statute rights under the Criminal Law Act and the Criminal Justice and Immigration Act. Before you all start shouting, yeah, I know, common law comes under a statute act of Parliament, because I did a video on that as well, and I'll probably leave a link to that below. But the Health and Safety at Work Act also applies. And I say this time and time again, because I've come across this before, is that if you employ staff and you expect them, there's an expectation they have to use force either to defend themselves or to physically control someone else, then by law, under the Health and Safety at Work Act, they have to be trained. Okay, there's no way around that. And I think it's shameful that the comment made here, and I'm just going to go back and read it, is that if something goes wrong and a member of staff is injured, it will be cheaper to pay them off than it is to train all staff. Absolutely shameful. The other thing is about the issue about the security team, the only nationally approved training body. Don't exist, really, and not for organisations. There are various organisations out there, as you all know, so I'm probably teaching a suck eggs, which I apologise for. We're accredited under Pearson's, other companies are accredited under other awarding organisations. There is no national approved training body for security training that delivers training per se. So yeah, I'll be interested in your comments on this, because I think it's absolutely shocking that good people are going to work, not being given the training they need, and the view of this organisation is if they get injured at work, and violence in the NHS now is really high, it's a real everyday risk, they'd rather just pay them off than give them adequate training. My view on that is if my children work there or my family member worked there and that's what happened, they'd be paying out a lot of money, because I would certainly sue. Look forward to your comments, guys. Thanks ever so much for listening, and I'll speak to you soon.